Hey everyone, Nat Daddy here, and we're gonna do a review today. We got a couple of omnis, or compendiums as they call them. They're the same thing. We got a 2-for-1 deal here, a couple of 80s hits, Transformers, and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Start off with this one. I've had these on my desk for a couple of weeks, all done, ready to go, review for you guys, and just haven't got around to it, so I'm glad to finally get these done for you. Transform and roll out from the very beginning. The Transformers rocked the comic book world with a debut that was truly more than meets the eye. Now you can experience every issue from the original series and tie-ins in this new reader-friendly compendium for the very first time. Discover the heroic Autobots, the evil Decepticons, and the galaxy-spanning war that will leave you breathless. Perfect for fans new and old. So it collects the old Marvel series from 84, 1 through 46, and then the Transformers Headmasters, the first kind of spin-off from then. So I think this is a must for any Transformers fan, especially if you're an original one like myself. And that I remember seeing these, and when they all appeared on TV in that. So great size book here for the value in that. A little bit lighter than an Omni because of the hardcover in that, and of course printed on that newspaper feel. That newsprint feel, so again brings back that nostalgia. So let's jump right into it. This is the Sienkiewicz cover there, classic. This is the direct market cover, not the one that you can just buy everywhere. So as that said, that great paper feel, and it jumps right into the first issue with the history of the Autobots and Decepticons and their war on Cybertron and that. So pretty faithful art. This is was a pretty deep comic. Now I went back and read it again, especially for younger kids and that. And it was basically made to help sell the toys, right? So the introduction of all the characters here after they've crashed on the planet and awakened after 4 million years of kind of being offline in that volcano there. Of course, now they're awake and they're meeting the humans, and there's Bumblebee and Spike in that. And Decepticons show up as well. So great issues here. Lots of iconic stuff popping up. You got Decepticons, you got new ones always are popping up and appearing after being made. I always like that. First appearances. This was supposed to be a 4-issue limited series at first, and then it ended up being continued on, so that's kind of cool as well. Always a lot of action in here. This is a great book. Especially with that new ongoing Transformers series going on, this is a great way to kind of see where the original stuff all came from in that. And then when you do read the new series and something does pop up, it does kind of give you that Easter egg type of feel. First appearance of the Dinobots. I remember being a kid when I used to read and watch this stuff. I used to think that sometimes that the Autobots were kind of those sucks in that, because they always, gave into even the bad guys. They would lose in that sometimes just to save humans and that. But like I said, when you read it nowadays, it's pretty deep in that. Always a war trying to get energy to and from Cybertron. Always misunderstandings because humans and don't see them as Autobots, and Decepticons just as alien robots attacking them. Trypticon. So many Autobots that I had forgotten about, and Decepticons as well too. Predaking. I didn't realize it too until I read the book too, that how many of them were those giant like Combinicon ones. So there's another one in that. There was tons of those guys that were 4 or 5 smaller Transformers that became larger ones. And then later on in the series, as they got higher and higher in that, you start seeing some more of the weird stuff that they were making too. So the Headmasters end up being here, where they're Autobots and Decepticons that have humanoids that kind of power them as batteries. They live in the heads. And there's just some truly bonkers issues in here as well too, like this Cosmic Carnival one here, where they use kind of like their own version of Optimus Prime as a circus thing. So he dies and comes back about 2 or 3 times in this. See, like that's a weird looking Decepticon. All right, like I said, this is a great book, great value. You should definitely check it out. And volume 2 will be out soon as well too. Very similar to the G.I. Joe one that they did as well just recently. So, all right, let's jump into our next one. Another favorite of mine from when I was a kid. This is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures, the Compendium. This isn't the Mirage stuff, this is the Archie stuff. So this is the stuff that covered the cartoon series in that when it came out. Relive the animated adventures of the Tmnt in these classic stories from the Archie comic series. The original animated Tmnt series debuted in December of '87 and began airing full-time in October of '88, by which time the comic series had already been on a sale for 2 months. The first 3 issues provide so popular that it turned into an ongoing series that would run for 17 issues, multiple specials, and various miniseries. This compendium aims to collect all the issues in this recommended reading order, giving you the fans reading experience that you like. Yeah, I like that in here too, that they have little parts that they're actually in the right reading order. So, because I do remember when this came out, the first few issues were so popular that there was like 3rd and 4th prints, I think, in that. Great classic covers, especially by Laird in that. I have a couple of them. One being this one. This is ends up being the ongoing series in that. And I do have the first one as well too. It's just on its way back from CGC. So, like I said, I do love this series and that. I used to religiously watch this cartoon all the time. It was great. Oh yeah, that's right. So it collects the original 3-issue miniseries, 1 through 17 of the ongoing, and then there's some other short stories I hear like as well from just different issues in that. So, all right, this one is a little bit more heavier. It is the hardcover in that, but still a pretty good value. Again, another one where there's so many great iconic characters introduced in here. There's that cover I was talking about. Pretty much one of my favorite covers, especially turtle-wise. The one I have coming is the 125, which is the Canadian variant because I'm Canadian. So. All right, much like the cartoon, we see April investigating all this little crime going on there, and she ends up being chased into the sewer, and it is where the turtles show up. And I don't know if it actually is or not, but these certainly look like the guys that could be changed into Bebop and Rocksteady later on. So, all right, April meets the turtles, and it's our Goofy turtles here. First time they have the different colored masks and that. And again, that was to help sell toys for the Playmate ones and that, which again, I happen to have one right here. So, Michelangelo, another cool toy. Still love this toy. Right. Shows the origin story of the turtles getting ooze on them and turning into the mutant turtles and that, and it shows Asaki there, or Eero I should say, getting turned into Splinter. Shows the first appearance of Shredder. These books are pretty silly. They don't start off super silly, kind of silly, not in a kid's way, cartoony way, but again, as the series goes on more and more, it ends up being more and more silly and ludicrous and kind of no jump in the shark type of thing. So they actually do get their weapons and get to use them in here a little bit more than they did in the cartoons, because in the cartoons they had to keep it toned down for broadcasters' sakes and for government's sakes. So much so that I don't know if it's in all of Europe or just in England, that they're called the Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles, because you're not allowed to use the word ninja and that out there. And again, that's why in these issues here you see Michelangelo have his nunchucks, and then further on he doesn't have them anymore because they edited them out and they were found too dangerous for kids and that. So Quite a bit of different artwork in here because, like I said, this does cover quite a large selection of their comic series and that. So some of the artwork is better than the others, but it all has that pretty good turtle feel to it. I don't mind it when it gets a little bit more image-like this, like the old original stuff and that. Or Mirage, I should say, not Image. But I do like how it starts off in here with the stuff being very cartoony and that, like the kids show, like we see here in that. So a lot of ridiculous stuff in here. A lot of it is, Shredder has a plan, or Kang has a plan to world domination, or get back to this dimension, or take care of the other ones, and the turtles have to stop them, or the turtles end up having something silly happen to them, and cartoon like they get shrunken down here and have to find a way to get unshrunk and have adventures along the way. So lots of fun if you're an original turtle fan, or maybe you want to introduce some new fans to it. Definitely pick this book up in that. Great value, especially where else are you going to get all these Archie comics and that? Because really, who was buying these back then, and who was saving them, and how much effort and money would it take you to actually collect these all nowadays? So pretty hard, I would expect. So another one, I remember that cover quite a bit. You have the mutants all over the world because they were sent back to Earth after being in the interplanetary wrestling, and they get sent back to different places on Earth and meeting different people and that. So like I said, a great book to introduce any turtle fan to, young or old. So all right. That's from IDW. That's the first compendium of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Adventures. And then we had the first compendium from Image of the original Transformers series. So hope you guys like this and that. I enjoyed showing them to you. Peace out. See you later for more reviews.